Good afternoon, everyone. We're almost done. This has been a long journey, but I did say I would do every book of the Bible that had astrotheology. Most missing in the New Testament, but the four Gospels are there. The book of Revelation is there, and we're up to the book of Luke. So let's do the 12 signs for people who haven't heard this yet. The first sign I talk about is Aquarius, which is represented by the man. Technically, Aries begins the year. But because the new year is kind of around Aquarius, that's where I start. There's keywords in the sign of Aquarius. If you look to the right, you'll see the man with the water pitcher pouring it out. So keywords like son of man and man, because Aquarius is the sign of the man, whereas Virgo is the sign of the woman. Um, Baptism, because this is how you baptize someone. Water pitcher, because this is a water pitcher. Fountain, there's a lot of fountains, especially in Greece at the same time, were built like this. Stream, river, pond, lake, ocean, sea. Because there's water in the picture of Aquarius, it could be used to depict water, even though Aquarius is an air sign. Now, Pisces is the mutable water sign. It's the two fish in the water. So all the same water examples exist in Pisces. Whether they're talking about water in Aquarius or water in Pisces literally depends on the patterns that you can make in the heavens, which I show constantly. Aries is the ram, and in Aries you have March 21st, which is the spring equinox. It's a 12-hour day, a 12-hour night. There's also three different Passovers that happen. The first Passover is the astrotheological Passover, when the sun passes over the equator and starts to make its way back to its height in the summer solstice. If you'll notice, the week leading up to the to March 21st and like 10 days after March 21st, there's a significant difference in the temperature. And that is because the sun is back in the northern hemisphere. Now, the Jewish Passover is when the angel of death passes over the houses in Egypt. And anyone that doesn't have the lamb, which is a baby ram, by the way, blood on the doorpost, the firstborn sons get killed. In Christianity, the Passover is changed and it becomes the resurrection of God's son. So whenever you hear ram, lamb, shepherd, or ram's horn, you're talking about Aries. Taurus is the bull. And when you look at the sky and you see Taurus during the season where it's supposed to be, you know that you need to put the plow on the bull so that you can plant the seed so you can harvest in Virgo and Libra. So whenever you hear bull, ox, calf, or cow, cow being the female bull, you're talking about Taurus. Gemini is the twins. It's the story of Castor and Pollux Troy, whose sister was Helen of Troy. It's the story of Achilles. So whenever you're talking about twins or brothers, you're talking about Gemini. Cancer is the crab, and it's the sideways moving creature. Just as the sun rises a degree on its axis starting on December 25th, every day a degree, it stops on June 21st. Then for 3 days, it rises to the same degree, hence shuffling sideways like the crab. Then on June 25th, it lowers a degree. The 26th, it lowers a degree. The 27th, it lowers another degree. And it continues to do this until December 21st, which we'll get to. The crab in the ancient Egyptian time was known as the scarab. So whenever you're talking about crab or beetle, you're talking about Cancer. Leo is the king. He's the lion. He's the king of the jungle or the king of the savannah, whatever you want to call it. The ruling planet of Leo is actually the sun. So whenever you're talking about lion, lioness, or cub, you're talking about Leo. Virgo is the woman holding the wheat stalk. Remember before when we said that you plant in Taurus? Well, the virgins would cultivate the wheat in Virgo in order to make bread for the year. So whenever you hear virgin, wheat, grain, seed, barley, corn, grainy things, things that you harvest in Virgo, you're talking about Virgo. Libra is the justice. It's the scales, it's the balance, it's the just one. The reason it's the justice is because it judges God's sun as it passes over the fall equinox and begins its descent into winter, into cold, into death. Libra is also wine season, which is when you plant for the grapes in Taurus. You can press the wine here. Libra is also olive oil season. That's when you press the olives to get the oil. So law, judge, justice, the just one, divorce, marriage, court. You could even throw like tax in there, all law and judging, justice, that kind of stuff. Wine vineyard, wine press, grapes, olive oil or olive oil, all that stuff is Libra. Scorpio is the scorpion and he is the betrayer. When a scorpion bites you, it leaves an imprint in your skin that looks like a pair of lips. I've been told also that when it stings you, it's a pair of lips, not when it bites you. But you can literally look this up in a search engine. Look up scorpion bite or scorpion sting. It's a pair of lips. And it's why the mafia has the kiss of death, and it's why Jesus was betrayed by Judas with a kiss. So the sun is judged in Libra, it's betrayed in Scorpio. Finally, in Sagittarius, this is where the bow and the arrow shoot the sun and inflict further punishment on the sun. This is where the sun dies. Why? Because on December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point. It cannot rise any lower. It was considered dead. The ancients would look out into the sky on December 21st and notice that the sun didn't crack the horizon. So they said the sun was dead. And then it remains at that lowest level. It walks sideways like the crab for 3 days. So now God's son was dead for 3 days. When on December 25th, or the birth of God's son and every other ancient deity, it rises another degree and starts to make its way back up to the top. So whenever you hear horse, bow and arrow, spear, or horseman, you're talking about Sagittarius. Finally, you have Capricorn, which is a goat because he likes to climb the mountain. If you look at the zodiac wheel on the right, Capricorn's all the way at the bottom. And if you start walking the sun a degree rising, going to the left, up, up, up until it hits the top of Cancer, the summer solstice, it starts the great climb during Capricorn, climbs the mountain. So those are the 12 signs. You guys have heard this many, many, many times. So let's just jump right into it. 113, you are to call him John. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink. To a virgin. John the Baptist is Aquarius, the wine is Libra. The other fermented drink is beer, which comes from barley, which is Virgo. The virgin is Virgo. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby. Let's go to Bethlehem. What the customs of the law required. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went to the festival. The shepherd is Aries. Bethlehem is a combination of two Hebrew words, which is bet, which means house, and lechem, which means bread. So it's the house of bread, which is Virgo with the wheat stalk. The law is Libra. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. Aries and Libra are opposing signs, and Passover is in Aries as well. So I mentioned when he was 12, right? You brood of vipers, I baptize you with water. Clear his threshing floor and to gather the wheat into his barn. Now Jesus himself was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. Well, the viper is a snake, which is Ophiuchus, which sits between Scorpio and Sagittarius. The baptism is Aquarius and the wheat is Virgo. So they mentioned the 12 and the 30. 12 is such a big day. 12 is such a big year. And 30 when he starts. Jesus disappears at 12 and comes back at 30. This has been a subject of great debate, but the answer is actually quite simple. What happens to a young Jewish boy at the age of 12? He becomes bar mitzvah. He becomes a man. So Jesus becomes a man and leaves to study. He starts his ministry at 30, but why? Well, the ancient Jewish religion has roots in Saturnalia worship from before it. And that's why their day of rest is the Saturday or the Saturn day. So why 30? Well, Saturnalia worshippers said that you were not allowed to become a teacher until Saturn came back at the point it was at when you were born. It just so happens that Saturn takes 30 years to come back. And you can refer back to Ezekiel at 30 seeing God, David at 30 becoming king. They're always talking about 30. There's always talk about 30 because that is the age Saturn returns and you have a life-changing event. He saw at the water's edge two boats, left there by the fishermen who were washing their nets. Otherwise, the new wine will burst their skins. The water's edge is the firmament between the two waters, Aquarius and Pisces. The fisherman is Pisces. The wine is Libra. So what I basically do when I break this down, guys and girls, is if you'll notice each one of these slides, I'm not reading the passage that they come from, but I do have it there for you to reference it yourself. I'm not putting the whole passage there. I'm just putting a couple of words that identify the astrotheology. But if you'll notice each slide, like for example, this is chapter 5. This is chapter 6. So what I do when I decode is I go through each chapter, and as I'm in a chapter, I highlight and I go through all the astrotheology that's hidden there, look for the patterns there, and then start a new chapter with a brand new slate. So this is 6. His disciples began to pick some heads of grain. He entered the house of God, taking the consecrated bread. Reject your name as evil because of the Son of Man. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. So the grain is Virgo, and the bread is Virgo. The Son of Man is Aquarius, the sign of the man. The judge is Libra. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. So here's chapter 7. John the Baptist sent us to you to ask, The experts in the law rejected God's purpose. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine. You have judged correctly. John the Baptist is Aquarius. It's a man holding a water pitcher, pouring it out. That's how you baptize someone. The law is Libra. The bread is Virgo. The wine and the judge are also Libra. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. So remember, I told you all law-related things. I told you all wine-related things. And they happen to both be there in the same chapter, not far from each other. This is chapter 8. A farmer went out to sow his seed. Though seeing they may not see, though hearing they may not understand. Let us go over to the other side of the lake. So you sow the seeds in Taurus. The other side of the lake refers to Pisces being the other side of Aquarius, the two water signs, just a metaphor for the water. See, they may not see, hearing they may not understand. This is a problem for the religious. They just can't wrap their head around what I am doing. They can't wrap their head around how I've done 50 different videos on different books. I've touched maybe 60 different books on this, and all these patterns can always be found. Here's chapter 9. We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. The Son of Man must suffer many things. The bread is Virgo, and the 2 fish are literally Pisces, the 2 fish. These are opposing signs. The Son of Man is Aquarius. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. So there's 2 patterns in 2 lines. The harvest is plentiful. Go, I am sending you out like lambs among wolves. I've given you the authority to trample on snakes and scorpions. What is written in the law? Pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey. The harvest is Virgo. That's when you harvest. The lamb is Aries, and the wolf is the constellation Lupus that borders Libra. Aries and Libra are opposing signs. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. Now, the snake is Ophiuchus, and the scorpion is Scorpio. These are connecting signs. The law is Libra. The oil and the wine is Libra as well. Libra and Scorpio are connecting signs. Libra, Scorpio, and Ophiuchus are now 3 signs in a row. The oil and the wine is Libra as well. The donkey is a Celis Borealis, which is in Cancer. So Aries, Cancer, and Libra are 3/4 of all the cardinal signs. So there's a definite bunch of patterns going on here in chapter 10. Chapter 11, give us each our daily bread. If your son asks for a fish, will you give him a snake instead? Or if he asks for an egg, will you give him a scorpion? So then they will be your judges. So also will the Son of Man be to this generation. Now then, you Pharisees, clean outside of the cup. So the bread is Virgo, the fish is Pisces. Again, these are opposing signs. The snake is Ophiuchus, the scorpion is Scorpio. These are connecting signs. The judge is Libra, and Scorpio. Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, and Ophiuchus are now 4 connecting signs in a row. 4 signs in a row in this. 4. On accident, this has to be patterned. This has to be how they wrote it. It has to be, because it can be shown in every single thing that I do. The judge is Libra, and the Son of Man is Aquarius. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. The cup is the constellation Crater, which is between Virgo and Libra. And again, I have to mention, in these 5 lines, they make 4 connecting signs in a row. I will store my surplus grain. Consider the ravens, they do not sow or reap. But I have a baptism to undergo. The grain is Virgo. The constellation Corvus is the raven, which is on the Virgo line. You sow in Taurus, and you reap in Virgo. The baptism is Aquarius. So it's basically Virgo. The whole thing is just basically about Virgo. And then they threw in Aquarius because that's the baptism, remember? He said to the crowd, when you see a cloud rising in the west, and immediately you say it's going to rain, and it does. And when the south wind blows, you say it's going to be hot, and it is. Hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. How is it that you don't know how to interpret this present time? And when you understand this astrotheologically, this makes utter and complete sense. From an astrotheological perspective, with my work at the stage of the game, you should know exactly what he means about interpreting the time or the times. He's often getting furious. Um, he's often getting furious because they don't understand the zodiac. A man has had a fig tree growing in his vineyard. Doesn't each of you on the Sabbath untie your ox or donkey from the stall and lead it out to give it water? It is like yeast that a woman took. The figs are harvested during Libra, which is the vineyard as well. The ox is Taurus. The donkey is Acellus Borealis, which is Cancer. The water is Aquarius. The water. The woman yeast has to do with Virgo. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in the law, if one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day, when you give a luncheon or dinner, do not invite your friends, your brothers. I have just bought 5 yoke of oxen. So the law is Libra. The oxen are Taurus. The brothers are Gemini. Taurus and Gemini are connecting signs. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, suppose one of you has 100 sheep. There was a man who had 2 sons. Who sent him to his fields to feed pigs? Bring the fattened calf. Yet you never gave me even a young goat. The law is Libra. The sheep is Aries. These are opposing signs. The 2 sons or brothers is Gemini. The pig is the constellation Porcus. The calf is Taurus. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are 3 connecting signs in a row. It's a quarter of the zodiac. The goat is Capricorn. 900 gallons of olive oil, 1,000 bushels of wheat. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. I have 5 brothers. The olive oil is Libra, the wheat is Virgo. These are connecting signs. The dog is Canis Major, which is in Cancer. The brothers are Gemini. Gemini and Cancer are connecting signs. It would be better for them to be thrown into the sea if your brother or sister sins against you. Suppose one of you has a servant plowing or looking after the sheep. Long to see one of the days of the Son of Man. The sea is Pisces, the brother is Gemini. You plow in Taurus, the sheep is Aries, the Son of Man is Aquarius. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are 5 connecting signs in a row. A major pattern here. A major pattern here. 5 signs in a row. Just look at how they just very sneakily just insert these key words and what it does when you maps out the heavens. In a certain town there was a judge. However, when the Son of Man comes, no one who has left home or wife or brothers, everything that is written by the prophets about the Son of Man will be fulfilled. On the 3rd day he will rise again. The disciples did not understand any of this. Its meaning was hidden for them, and they did not know what he was talking about. Oh, I actually never decoded this. I actually never wrote this down. Okay, so the judge is Libra. The Son of Man is Aries. The brothers are twins in Gemini. The Son of Man is Aquarius. On the 3rd day, he will rise again. This is what the sun does, right? We just went over this. The disciples did not understand any of this. Its meaning was hidden for them. They did not know what he was talking about. See, they don't know. You know, Job 38:30. Job 38:30. Can you lead forth the Mazzaroth, or 38:20? Can you lead forth the Mazzaroth? The Mazzaroth is the zodiac. They're constantly referring to this, and Jesus is constantly telling them, why can't you understand I'm not talking about bread? Why can't you understand any of this? The meaning is hidden. They didn't want them to know. They never understand. They think it's all literal. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost, and reaping what I did not sow. At the hills called the Mount of Olives, you will find a colt tied there. The Son of Man is Aquarius. You reap in Virgo, you sow in Taurus. The Mount of Olives are Libra. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. The colt is the horse, which is Sagittarius. The chief priests and the teachers of the law. John's baptism, was it from heaven or of human origin? A man planted a vineyard. The teachers of the law and the chief priests. Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies, the law is Libra, the baptism is Aquarius. Is it from heaven or human? Well, is it literal baptism? As above, so below, people. A literal baptism is Aquarius. A literal baptism, the man with the water pitcher. but the man with the water pitcher that baptizes is also the sign Aquarius. The vineyard is also Libra, the law is Libra, and the brothers are Gemini. Stand before the Son of Man. Each evening he went out to spend the night on the hill called the Mount of Olives. The Son of Man is Aquarius, the olives are Libra. Now the festival of unleavened bread called the Passover was approaching. Then Satan entered Judas. As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters. He will show you a large room upstairs. After taking the cup, and he took bread, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives. Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? So the Passover takes place in Aries, and Judas, we know, is Scorpio, the betrayer with the kiss, just like the scorpion. The man with the water jar is Aquarius. The cup is the constellation Crater, which sits between Virgo and Libra. The bread is Virgo, the wheat is Virgo, the brothers are Gemini, the olives are Libra, and the Son of Man is Aquarius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sentences, and look at all the patterns. And then we come to this. The Son of Man must be delivered. He took bread. They gave him a piece of broiled fish. The Son of Man is Aquarius. The bread is Virgo. The fish is Pisces. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. Pisces and Virgo are opposing signs. So just want to pause for 1 second. So I just wanted to pause for a minute and let you guys just think about this. This is how every single ancient holy text has ever been written. Every single one that has survived as a Western ancient holy text. It could be influenced by the East, but these Western, Northern Hemisphere holy texts are all written and encoded the same exact way. And this is the code. Now, for you who don't understand, or if you're new, what is the point of all this? We take for granted that we have calendars, clocks, watches, weathermen. The ancients didn't have any of that. They had sundials. In the Bible, they worked on dream interpretations for harvest. They had to know things. They needed to know Taurus was when you put the plow in the bull and plant, as above, so below. The Bible is an encoded farmer's almanac astrotheologically, and was the knowledge of staying alive the most important thing. It also mapped out the heavens. They would look at the stars and see all the movements and make stories up about them and pass them down to their children, then them to their children. Eventually, they learned how to write and wrote them down, and it evolved from Sumerian to Babylonian to Egyptian to Judaism, Old Testament, then to Christians in the New Testament, to the Quran, the Book of Mormon, any of the books I've done. And I'll leave you with this quote. My point, once again, is not that those ancient people told literal stories and we are now smart enough to take them symbolically, but that they told them symbolically and we are now dumb enough to take them literally. So thank you for watching this, guys. I really appreciate it. We're going to do the Gospel of John, and then I'm going to take a quick look through the rest of the New Testament again, see if I find anything. But after the book of John, I think I'm done. I'm going to probably start the Colburn Bible and see if I find anything, possibly the Apocrypha. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think.